Good morning, student. So today we'll discuss about the network protocol. So, what is network protocol? That just a second. Okay. So protocol. Protocol means what we know, that set of rules. Is it audible, student? Okay. So network protocol means the set of rules for any just like regulation or format, that whenever we are transmitting or receiving any type of data. So, how we can go for any network protocol system, or what are the different types of protocol that are used in this network system? That is today's discussion. So, actually, so first topic is the TCP/IP, or Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. So, what is the main motto of this protocol? The main part of this internet protocol is that whenever we are communicating with the World Wide Web core communication system, so easily we can transmit our data to any particular IP address. So IP address, we know that is a unique numerical address of a device that uses internet protocol of a communication. That means what? The IP address is the particular address through which this data is transmitted to a particular ID or particular system, through which data actually travel, the address. And it has the two version. One is static IP address, that means usually never change, but they may be changed as a result of network administration. That means what? Whenever suppose one system is part of one network, so it IP becomes one fixed. But when the same system goes to another network, so IP address may change. That is called static. And dynamic ones, the IP address are temporary. That means for any particular reason or for any connectivity reason, the IP address is given. So those are called dynamic IP address. Now, the most used IP version are IPv4 and IPv6. IPv4 means 32-bit IP version IP address. IPv4 means 4 into 8, that is 32-bit, and it has the 6 IPv6. IPv6 a 128-bit IP address. IPv4 is a numeric address. Its binary bit are separated by dot, means 102.111.12.12. This way, generally, it is written. So, how we can say, just like here, few example are there. IPv4 address classes are there. Class A, you can see 1.0.0.1 to 126.255.255.254. So these are the two different variation of this type of IP address. So how many IP address it can support? It can support up to 60 million hosts for on each of 127 network. So these are the different type of IP address: class B, class C, class D, and class E. So here the last one is quite more important. That is class E, reserved for future use or research and development purpose. That means these are the reserved. This IP address, this range, this particular range is used for research purpose. That is still not in use, you can say. Of these five address classes, there are ABCD were designed to unique a single source to single destination computer or system. Address in class D were reserved for IP multicast application, which always one to many communication. Means when one single system is used to telecast to multiple system, then this class D communication is used. Now, how this TCP/IP works? How TCP/IP means full form is Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol. So, first of all, what is the first purpose or first work of this TCP/IP? It first simply you can say the breaks the whole data into packet, smaller parts, smaller segment. Now that is done in the application layer. You can say in the first layer, it is actually it has worked in different layer. So how the data is transmitted, you have to understand in this way. Just like there are five layers work: application layer, then transport layer, then network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. There are 5 to 1 layer, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In this way, in this layer wise, it works actually. So how the layer actually work, that we have to understand. First of all, as I told, in case of TCP/IP protocol, the every data is actually broken into several packets. Packets mean data packets, means smaller chunk. Now, where it is actually broken, just like in the application layer, I want to download a web page from address this. For example, this is my request to any web browser. This is the IP address 192.168.1.102. So it sends the message to the transport layer, that is TCP UDP. So source port is this, destination port is 80. Now I want to download, so this is the address. You can say one request. Now segment and datagram. In that part, another message is transported. Source IP 192 from where it is requested or from where it came. It has came. Then data link layer, there one MAC address is there. MAC address is the address of the physical system. So it has requested to the data to the physical layer, and then receiving process at the receiving end. So in this way, actually TCP/IP actually works. So now how TCP/IP actually used for higher level application? Just like FTP means file transfer protocol, the internet file transfer area means whenever we are transmitting one file to another system, just like in network, there are many ways that we can transfer the file. HTTP file, hypertext transfer protocol, telnet, which enable login onto computer from remote location. For example, suppose we know that we have the facility remote computing. You are sitting at one place, but from there only you can set login into another area. So that is called the simply the excuse me, telnet facility, which actually enables you to log in into remote computer. Then SMTP. SMTP is the simple mail transfer protocol through which we generally send the mail. Now FTP means what? Let's come to this diagram. Here FTP client, and this is the FTP server. Now within that, one FTP commands and data that are actually following. How it works actually? So FTP or file transfer protocol is one of the standard internet protocol. Means file transfer, whenever we are sending or whenever we are passing the file from one computer to another computer, so that time we have to use the FTP protocol. It has one server, one client. For example, through one just simple messenger service. For example, let me take one example of WhatsApp only. In WhatsApp, for example, you are sending one file to another person or your friend. So in that case, you are one of the FTP server, and those who is receiving, he is the FTP client. So in this way, actually, server and client mode work. Used to transfer file between client, FTP client, and a server over a computer. It was developed in 1970. These are historical things. Quite you can learn. Here is the important point. One of the Indian Abhay Bhushan, alumni of IIT Kanpur, while he was a student of MIT. So that time he actually invented this FTP protocol. Was initially created to allow secure transfer of file between server and host computer over ARPANET network control program. Now it is actually used for anonymous uploading web server after non-anonymous FTP. So FTP is available in two mode. Text mode FTP, that means you are uploading any text-based data. which user have to give command in text form, and another is GUI FTP. Just you have to click somewhere. For example, just WhatsApp, you can say this is a GUI based FTP. Popular reliable FTP client, FileZilla, WinSCP, CyberDuck, and GFTP. Now, how to work on the FTP? Here we are using FZilla, FileZilla, download FZilla. So in this way, we can go through the particular use of this FTP protocol. These are the simple demo example, practical expect. Will not bother about that. Then point-to-point protocol. Point-to-point protocol means there are many segments are there in a network. So it's an open standard protocol used to provide connection over point-to-point serial links. The main purpose of PPP is to transport layer of 3 packets over a data link layer to point link. Means what? Asynchronous serial connection. Asynchronous serial connection means like plain old telephone services. POTS dial-up connection. That means earlier the land phone, the dial-up connection. Synchronous serial connection like integrated servers services for digital network (ISDN) or point-to-point leased client. And BPP consists of 2 sub protocol, that is link control protocol (LCP), set to negotiate the control options or data link layer OSI layer 2 after finishing the setting of the link. So now before PPP connection, it should go through the 3 phases. So what are the 3 phases it must go through before start the session? Link establishment phase means you have to first set the link, you have to create the link. Authentication phase means two-side authentication you have to do, valid server and client. Network layer protocol phase means which network layer it is using. So these 3 phases you have to remember. Now coming the most important or very common to us, that is HTTP protocol, hypertext transfer protocol. What is the use of this? It is used by basically World Wide Web or www to exchange information in any web page or through web pages. It has also another version HTTPS, that is hypertext transfer protocol secure. Now how it works actually, we'll first see to this diagram. Request, for example, this is one website python.mykbs.in. Response, first of all one request is made, then one response has came from this particular IP address, and another bit make HTTP request to this and HTTP response. That means one request and response. In this way it generally shows or works. Now network protocol, few more network protocol we have to understand. These are remote login system, just like I was discussing telnet service. So what is this means for? Telnet means is most popular accessing remote site, means suppose which is not present physically with us, but we can access this using different type of login software. You might have seen the TeamViewer or AnyDex. This type of platforms are there. So through which we can access this telnet service. So using telnet software, what is the use? First of all, IP address is shared. Through that IP address, the particular host machine can access to a particular computer, and the file can be accessed, any file. So once the telnet client establishes a connection to remote host, our client becomes a virtual terminal, allowing us to communicate with the remote host from one computer. In most cases, we need to log into remote host, which requires that we have an account on that system. So in that way, we can access to the remote areas or remote computers. Few another protocols which are used in case of wireless or mobile communication system. Just like we have seen, there are 2 types of communication: guided media and unguided media. That earlier we have discussed. So wireless and mobile communication protocol, in that few different protocols are used. The network architecture is used unique in that separate mobile network from fixed network and provide connectivity between 2 via the protocol specially used for wireless mobile communication, which are not as wireless mobile communication protocol. So such protocol GSM and GPRS and WLL. So presently GSM is used, but GPRS is quite obsolete. GSM is what? Global System of Mobile Communication. Is a standard developed by European Telecommunication Standard Unit (ETSI) for 2G cellular network. Earlier, that's why I told 2G. Whenever 2G SIM or 2G network system was there, that time it was used. But this is presently not in use. It initially started as a circuit switching network, but later, just like packet switching was implemented after integration general packet radio, so GPRS technology as well, the wide use of GMC, its frequency you have to remember 900 megahertz to 1800 megahertz. This is the frequency. Now, GSM mobile use SIM cards. The subscriber identity module means each SIM card has its own module. That means each SIM card is also associated with a particular ID or particular people. So that's why GSM mobile uses SIM card and portable memory chip that store information about you as a cell phone user. On it, there is a 17-digit code that designate its country code of origin, means from where it has generated, and the system carrier and unique user ID. So these are the different information that is stored in the SIM card. Then network protocol. So how it works actually? GSM works. A mobile station means from which the mobile phones is consist of, or from which it is receiving the signal. The mobile phone which consists of transceiver, and the display, the processor, and it's controlled by SIM card operating over the network. And base station system, it connect the mobile station and network subsystem. These two part, it consists of base transceiver, which contains the radio transceiver and handles the process of controls communication with mobile. So base station means from where the signal is transmitted, from where the signal is completely transmitted. Few more information here it is mentioned, so just you have to go to this part. Then coming GPRS means general packet radio service, from where the internet service is actually enabled in the mobile SIM. Internet service facilitated into the mobile SIM using this GPRS cell phone system. There will all ideal radio capacity which is not being used. It stays unused until other cell phone user decide to make phone call. And GPRS uses this idle radio capacity to establish data network to be used in 115 kbps. Basically, these are the different properties of these systems: GPRS, SIM card. So, gateway GPRS supports GGSN, and serving GPRS source support node SGSN are two more major component of GPRS network. But remember, GPS system actually it enables the internet in our mobile phone. The GGSN convert incoming data traffic from mobile user and forward it to the relevant network and vice versa. These are the different technique. And now presently we are using the wireless local loop, WLL. WLL, it is very important. From the diagram also you can understand wireless local loop. Now how it works? For example, just like initially the telephones were connected via copper cable. First of all, earlier copper cable were used. Later on, but will protocol telephones will WLS support can be used while roaming. Roaming means when you are switching one place to another place, then also this wireless local loop can work. So when somebody calls from WLL to another person, the base trans receiver accepts the signal and sends it to base station controller. Okay, means WLN, so it will first transmit it from the base station. Base transmission receiver accepts the signal, it sends the signal to base station controller. And controller decodes them according to given code and sends this to base station, which sends it the telephone exchange. Telephone exchange means from where the telephone communication actually transmits to different people. So here is one simple comparison technology. mobile communication technology. So technology and feature, first generation, that is 1G, then second generation 2G, third generation 3G, fourth generation 4G, and fifth generation 5G. So what are the different aspect? What are the time actually these are developed? Just like first G, 1980 to 1990, it has 1990 to 2000, then 2000 2010, third generation 3G, then fourth generation now presently, and fifth generation also quite launch. Then data rate 2 kb per second, then 64 it has increased, then 2 mbps, now it has about 1 gb per second, and fifth generation less than 1 gb or 10 gb actually. Now, technology. So analog cellular technology, here digital cellular, here broad bandwidth CDMA IP technology, CDMA and IP Internet Protocol, and WiMAX, LTE, Wi-Fi. These are the different kind of things are actually used. LTE presently we are using, through which we can make the calling, Wi-Fi calling, we will say, services, and multiplexing, FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, CDMA. These are the different techniques, and switching also, circuit packet switching. In case of 4G, all packet switching are there. 5G also the same. So next day we'll discuss about few processor in recent time which are used for mobile technology. Any question is there? Is there any question?